Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome the diaspora and anyone who have the opportunity to listen to us through this massive network called social media. Welcome to On Target. As soon as we start that game, you could pick up your telephone and give us a call. The number to call 442-0175. We're on RealFM 91.9, 91.5, YouTube, and Facebook. If you're hearing us, tell somebody. Tell your friends. If you're on social media, like, share, and remember to subscribe. In that way, you will give us a blind. You will help our program to spread. Even if you don't like the program, hold a discussion on it. Because what we do in this program, we provoke discussion. Remember, the number to call is 442-0175. That's RealFM. As I await your call, I want us to constantly come to the conclusion that we could address the problems we have in Grenada. We must not be walking around with problems. We have the ability to solve our problems. We must sit down and discuss the issue. In your own home, in your house. Man and woman, children, husband and wife. Let us sit down and try to trash out the problems. If we do that, you're surprised to know the amount of challenges we will address. One of the challenges we have in Grenada is the productivity level in the education system. We have to sit down and discuss this issue, and we have to give it some consideration by all stakeholders. And all of us in Grenada will be affected if the productivity level in the education system continue to be that poor. 70% of the children that exit school, that leave school in Grenada, struggling to find jobs on the job market. Some of the organizations claim that they have jobs, but the people looking for the jobs don't have the talents, the skills, and the ability. Go to the statistic division. They will tell you that 60% of the people who are looking for jobs are not qualified. They don't have the skills and talents for the jobs available. Yet we have an education system that is not worried. They're not bothered. We ought to be concerned. Ask yourself this question. If 70% of the children that exit school are not competitive on the job market, who these children belong to? If it's not your children, then you don't have to bother. And that means you're in the 15-20% group that have it well made. If your children fall in that group, you ought to be concerned why that is so. Our educators are better educated, more certificated, better trained, more qualified, better paid than any other time in our history. The buildings in which they function in, the ambience, the aesthetics, the infrastructure, the equipment, the aids inside there is much better than any other time in our history. More than 20% of the educators drive themselves to school or to the institution. So that means discretionary income is much more in abundance than in yesteryear, then why the productivity level is so low? I have been very worried for a number of years. And I become more worried now because I don't believe the government have what it takes. They don't have the capacity to challenge our educators. Our educators in a free ride. I cannot find a better word. And I know this is not the most appropriate word to use. But I'll have to use it because I can't get a better one. If you could get a better one, tell me. Our educators don't care. The majority of our teachers and educators, they don't care. It is difficult for our children going to school, and after 13 and a half years in school, they do not have what it takes to be competitive on the job market. It means we will have more vagrants. We're going to have more such social decadence in the society. We will have more challenges in the courthouse. We will continue to have higher unemployment, low productivity in Grenada, if that continues. The jobs that on the market now are not jobs where you just need big, strong people. You need people with skills. You need people that can be trained, that are trainable. You need people with basic education. You need technical people. You need skills. And it's sad to see we don't have it. You need discipline, and we don't have it. You don't have to agree with me, you know. Go in the courthouse in Grenville. Buy the courthouse in Grenville, St. David's, St. Patrick's, St. George's. Go and just observe the amount of young men that are dragged in the court on a daily basis for dumb crimes, stupid crimes, predial larceny, resisting arrest, minimal, simple traffic offenses, using objectionable language, fighting, walking with weapons, our sons and daughters. Go in the mental institute. Today we have a ministry of mental institute. First time in the history of Grenada, we have a minister for the madhouse. They don't like to say the madhouse. They like to say the mental institute. First time. Perhaps the numbers are so increasing, and they expect much more to come. Go there. Go near to a function or a party and look at the behavior of your sons and daughters and see if you're not worried. I'm certain some parents is ashamed of their children. More and more, you see young boys begging on the street. They're begging for $1. They're begging for a cake. They're begging for bread. They're competing with the dogs in the garbage bin. And their relatives are passing and ignoring them. They don't want people to know that they're related to them. John Gulls tell the woman, better you make a pig Time so we would have barbecue it and eat some pork, rather than this son you have. The poor mother still crying behind the son. And there seems to be no sympathy in the society. We need to be worried because now we have a government that seems to be very insensitive to this group of people. They don't want to help them. They said, you're giving them handout. You're making them lazy. They're on drugs. They want $1 to buy a Coke. They climb in breadfruit tree in the night. They will cut grass in the night for $1. And now we have some women that are also coming drug addicts. It's a sad, sad thing when you meet a woman that is hooked on coke. It is even sadder when she is a young girl. It is more sad when she is your relative. What she will do to get $1. We could turn our backs on it. We could ignore it. But it's going to come home to roost. Even if we're living in gated communities, they will break the gate. They will hold you up in the day. They will snatch your bags. And they would ravish you in the night. Particularly, we have a lot of women today who in good financial situation. They have their own homes, they have their cars. But they forgot to make children when they was young. So they're living alone. You would be tortured by these men we create in our society. Parents, you must be concerned. You should be concerned about the productivity level in school. A number of the boys leaving school cannot find a job. There are some jobs they don't want to do. And the jobs they want to do, they don't have the skills and talents for it. You see, they might have been to secondary school. And we suffer from a mentality problem. So they may not want to work in agriculture. And even if they are in agriculture, they don't have the discipline to be productive. So they gone on the hustle. But the hustle had to. It involved gambling. It involved drugs. It involved pretty larceny. And very, very few of them would make it. So we have 19-year-old behaving as if them is 11. We have guys 25, 30 years. You will believe they're 13. And we have 35 and over. They're no longer considered as youth by anybody. Not the United Nations. The United Nations say youth is 14 to 24, 25 years. Most of the countries in the world recognize youth as 15 to 35. And NNP bring it a little higher. They say youth is up to 39. And these individuals own nothing. They don't even have a dog. They don't even have a girlfriend they could walk with in the day. They might get something in the night, in the dark. They own nothing. And they don't have skills. And the consumption of alcohol, drugs, coke, and weed, making the brain look as a piece of dry wood. We have to seriously give it some thought. The education system say they don't responsible. Ask the teachers. They say it's not them. They don't responsible. It's the parents. I don't agree with them. I believe that our educators is the chief culprit. I believe they're unproductive. The majority of them don't care. But however, it is still your child. Some parents say they're tired. They're fed up. They can't make blood out of stone. But if you is a Christian, you have to believe that you could make blood out of stone. So you have to take greater interest in your children. Even if those over 16 years is a lost case, you have to do your utmost with those between 5 and 13 in primary school and try to help to salvage greater productivity from them. Maybe you are not affected. You see, a lot of the women are doing a little better. Just a little. Because 70% not doing well. Obviously, more women are doing better than the boys. But even the women who are doing well, they're seeing trouble to get man. Can't get good man. That's why you see so much of women in Grenada. Very intelligent, does well, drive the car, have house, no man. Can't get good man. And you, the younger daughters, must be worried. Because you may want to have a child or 1.5 or something. And you have to have some male to get that child. And even after you have the child, you want a role for the father in the child's life. So it's in your interest that we improve the stock of men that we have in the society. Grenadians like show. They like music. Over the last 10 years, perhaps every month, we have a big show in Grenada. Yes, caller, welcome.
Sure.
Go right ahead, brother.
Yeah, very good topic. But
you could always break the topic.
Was sitting here and a young lady came to me and she said that she jumped up a lot behind the last Democratic Congress Party she campaigned a lot and they promised her something when they win. And she find almost 2 years she ain't get nothing, so she went to the minister in the area. I tell her, he go see if he could squeeze her somewhere, he go see if he could squeeze her in the plains agricultural officers. He go and ask them they could just give her a little thing to do a little side line to do still. And there's a couple of people is saying that the ministers is promising them they go see they could squeeze them somewhere. So what I want to ask, although I have the political experience, which is the biggest business in the land? I said it should be government is the biggest business in the land. It's a business. than any other business place. And I find this thing sung in like Papi Joe because you don't squeeze people somewhere in government. Where we heading? I believe a lot of Papi Joe is going on that you to calm the person. You as the parliamentary rep telling them you go squeeze them somewhere. I never heard that in my whole entire political life. So I was just asking you what you think about that kind of behavior. And that going on, I don't know if it's only in St. Patrick, West, I don't know where else it's going on. But I know from my area here, the minister, hold on, I go see if I could squeeze you somewhere. So that sounding like a joke.
Color is
So
a
we have to
fact.
take
The government do not have any program to create employment. They never had a history of it. And now, although they want to walk away and abandon the programs that was there, they have none. So obviously they're going to find they have been firing NNP, and as a result of that, getting some place for some of the people who they believe support them. But even that is going to run out, because there's a lot of people that you cannot fire in the public service. And I guess they're waiting on natural attrition. You retire, so this one take the position. But the government start bringing in foreigners. Well, they're no longer foreigners. They are Caribbean nationals to take some of the posts in the higher bracket that where people have moved on. So this government is faced with a sad story that they do not have the ability or the capacity to create employment. People are going to suffer, color. There is no question of that. Color, are you there? Gone. People is going to suffer.
yes.
Yeah. So you're correct. They have to fight to squeeze. Maybe they must be looking for somebody now they suspect to be an NNP to fire them to get a place for them.
Okay.
So that is the situation with the government. It is sad, but we should not be surprised. And I'm not saying that June, we should not be surprised. Go ahead.
What I'm saying, the parliamentary rep and them should not make promises. This is not a personal business. They should not make promises to the electorate that are going to put you somewhere.
Well, you see, yeah. Yes, thank you, caller. That is a very important observation. But the harsh, cold reality is this NDC government have disappointed even hardline NDC world. They gave the impression that they had a magic wand. They attacked the Imani program, the best program that have been instituted in Grenada in the last 100 years. Other countries in the Caribbean are following Grenada and adopting similar program. It's Trinidad that now having an Empower program. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre. How are you doing, sir?
Great, man.
Good. Nice. There are many things in life, as I think I have said that to you offline at one time regarding, but the whole thing in life, I think we have to know, the first thing I think we need proper parenthood. Yeah. More family values. We don't have any family values much here, and then the educational aspect of it is one of the key things. Now, I don't know how you look at it, but I look at it like when a child leaves home, they leave the parents, they're going to school, the teachers are the second parents, yeah? Correct me if I'm wrong, sir.
Yes.
And yeah, and you see, now sometimes, especially in secondary school right now, we see some very young teachers. There are only about 5 years or 6 years gap between the students and the teachers. Now, what we call this, how do you expect that person to be discipline the students, knowing the fact that that teacher may not be a father or a mother, so there's a lot that goes into this. So our whole society, you go to the lot of the what you call religious institutions, including the pastors, some of them people, it is disgusting. It is very, very disgusting, at the end of the day, even if you look at it, if you have to do a justice, it should be done from a justice point of view. So many things of that nature. So once we bring all those things into in this really aspect of life, in its true light, then we see a difference. But everything is all over the place, and you can have. I mean, I don't want to say a young person or frontline leader, but there's the maturity and immaturity. Education is one, but putting the education on the front line, how you bring out the education which you has in you, has a lot to do. So education is one, but the experience you need it. Yeah, but we see today a lot of things. I mean, I don't want to say I'm disappointed, but a lot of youths are on the front line. But you see, and then if youth want to teach youth, then you will have a problem. So we need experience, and we see a lot of things in front of us. Is great example, and we should take it into consideration. Yeah. Have a blessed afternoon.
Yes, scholar, thank you very much. And we want people to discuss the issue. We don't have answers, but we're extremely worried. If our children are leaving school, and then after 13 and a half years in school, or 18 and 19, they don't have the basic requirement to be competitive on the job market. And the government now seems to be hostile against this group of people in the lower income group. It compounds the issue because government itself is not making any attempt to create employment. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Mr. Pierre, if like you're young, you leave school, right? You go for the job on the job market, you're sending your CV and everything. For you to start working, and they tell you need experience. How many years experience? How would you get experience if you make a start somewhere?
But the businessman
How
don't care
these
about that.
bosses. So then, how this boss, how this employee, who you hiring, how did you reach where you are to get the experience, to get the exposure? If you don't start from somewhere, how would you get the experience? You have to make a start somewhere. Hello?
Yes, scholar. You have to make a start
Yes.
somewhere. But could you imagine
You have to.
a businessman have his business place? He is not there to teach you. He wants you to join his staff from day one because he wants to make money. So if you come in without the knowledge, he don't have time to train you. It's not his role. It's not a training session he have.
Yes, so what are the age of someone who's looking for a job to get the job? How would they get the experience? How would they get the experience, even though they may have the qualification to do the job, the subjects, the CVs to do the job, like they qualified to do the job, but they are young, they're in their 20s or in their 30s. How would they gain the experience if they didn't start from somewhere? They have to start from somewhere. And that is why I like with the e-money, where the government give the young people that experience, that exposure, a start in life. So when they finish there, when they started there, they get that exposure. They get that exposure. They get that experience with the ability they have, and therefore, if they like the boss want to keep them now, the boss could keep them. But the Imani is there was a very good vision, even though some people make it they run down the Imani like if it is something bad, but the Imani make people managers, the Imani make people principal, the Imani make people marketing directors of certain companies, So that is where you're supposed to get in a start because at the same time, the government pay you to get trained. Yeah. And then when these companies and then see you now, they see your potential, they see your ability, they hook you on. But it's going to be very difficult now for these young people leaving school unless they don't have a godmother, a godfather, somebody in there, some political friend. You will not get a job easy. No
Yeah.
matter how applications you put in, no matter how much the qualification you have, if you don't have a godfather, a godmother, a political friend, some kind of a body what could make a little pushing, what could send something on it for you. You will never get it, and you will never get the exposure. You will never get the experience.
Yeah.
You want to get.
Yes,
Yeah.
scholar.
Thank you very much.
I think all of us agree the Imani program was a very good attempt at getting over 3,000 people. First of all, they get some money. They get some basic money to meet their needs. They was able to get some job training. They got an opportunity and encouragement to further their education. They could have preserved some of their dignity. They didn't have to fall through in their larceny, prostitution, and downright laziness. So I believe that was one of the best programs instituted in Grenada in the last 100 years. The National Democratic Congress did not believe that. And up to today, although other countries in the Caribbean are adopting aspects of the program, this government is still hostile towards it. While we're doing that, our schools is like a factory producing people who are not competitive on the job market. And our teachers in the education system, the majority of them, they don't care. The trade union, they don't care. And let us remember, the trade union is not the responsibility to talk about productivity. Productivity is not the trade union responsibility. It's the responsibility of management. A trade union could be proactive and encourage it, but you can't blame them for that. The number one objective is their members. Now, we blame the parents, but the parents don't have the qualification to teach. The parents was not trained or paid to teach. Some of the parents, the majority of parents, don't know about the curriculum or the strategy to teach. And 60% of the parents are single mothers, women that lead the home. And that is why I always refer to women. And I remember with them, I remind them what Christ said. Mourn for yourself and your children. So I always appeal to our women in Grenada. And I blame you. You have to take the bull by the horn and make certain your children do well in school. You have to have more disciplined children. Some of the children are very ill-disciplined. Both boys and girls are ill-disciplined. But in the boys, it is more marked. Because they, more than the girls, are ending up in the police station and in our prisons and the mental institution. They're getting mad. They turn in vagrants. They're playing down on the road and they're killing one another. And these boys are abandoned by their fathers. If the fathers didn't abandon them when they're babies, when they're in school, as soon as they turn down, the fathers abandon them. Is you, the mothers, are going and take the money you save for Siankatuka and go and try to defend them in the courthouse? Obviously, you love them more. They come out in your womb. You feel every pulse, every heartbeat of them. So you will always have a greater attachment to them than the males. So I believe you have to wake up. And you have to do more to instill more discipline in your children, to make certain your children do well in school. You have to guide them with what subjects they do in school, because the school tricking them too, you know. They want to get rid of him so quick. Sometimes the children are successful in some areas, but it doesn't result in getting jobs. And Grenada is going to bring in skilled people to do their work. They start already. Go and find out from the Ministry of Labor how much work permits that they sign in every year to bring in skilled people in Grenada. If you have to terrazzo a floor, if you have to lay tiles, if you want mechanics, if you want technicians, if you want people in the refrigeration area, you have to bring in people. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Yes, yesterday, Mr. Pierre, it appears that 2 callers was on my back to some extent. But
Well, you supposed to have a broad buckle.
yeah, he brought it.
And remember,
He brought it, but
You-
it
yeah.
doesn't matter the broadness. Either on it, I feel in it, so I have to talk about it.
but you are a regular caller on radio.
Yes, that
So
doesn't,
you know people go attack you.
yeah, that doesn't prevent me from being.
You could always rebut.
Right. Now, what the gentleman said about I'm excited over hearing nutmeg and cocoa price and things.
Well, that was a little low joke one.
Yes, I have a right to be excited if I hear cocoa and nutmeg
You
price.
really believe they're going to raise the price?
The important is not
Between
whether
them.
the important thing is not whether I believe or not. The important is that if cocoa price rise, farmers, regardless whichever government in power, farmers will be happy. If nutmeg price rise, regardless whichever party in power, farmers will be right, will feel right. And I am in the farming community since my life. So I want to see good for farmers and good for agriculture. So I am anything coming farmers' way, I will be excited. I mean, as to say whether it will come, I don't know, because politicians do talk things and don't mean it. But I am saying that the prospect for farmers, once it is looking good, for instance, when banana was looking good, I wasn't concerned about whether it's NMP in power and NDC in power. I was concerned about banana is looking good. Farmers, mostly every farmer in Grenada, were able to ship banana. When cocoa price was reasonable and we were getting help from Canada, farmers were feeling better. When the nutmeg price was, farmers were feeling better. When the nutmeg board take money, excess money that they had, and sell it in Barbados and Gary, demand the nutmeg board to bring back the money. And a song was made for Carnival, where is the nutmeg bonus? Get Harry to tell us What we want to know first, we want to know about the bonus.
You want to know about the surplus?
The surplus we had in so and so. Let's get this matter fixed. It was a concern to everybody. So I remain that kind of person that once the farming community is better off, I am going to support that.
Yeah, but
regardless to whichever government in power.
And Chief, you have
Yeah.
you have to continue making your points about agriculture because they are important, and continue talking about agriculture.
And I will.
Nothing is wrong with that. That
And
is
I will.
good and
So I
important.
just want people.
Yeah.
To me, the gentleman was sort of,
Sometimes
courteous and friendly.
sometimes you have fun around
Right.
with that
But
because
I'm saying-
your voice has been so loud on it
yes.
that sometimes
saying
they
that-
say that you're really optimistic. It is not
Well,
really.
I will be optimistic.
It is not really a negative on you.
No.
But yeah.
Because, for instance,
Thank
I
you.
still believe that this government could have done something better with marketing board. We agree, and I will be the first to say that NMP played around the marketing board issue too long. And I hold no apology for saying that. NMP play around the marketing board. They allow some people to get rich. They allow some people to do what they want in marketing board for too long.
Yeah.
But this government come and they have not done better.
Yeah.
They have not done better.
You see, Mr. Bridgman,
Mm-hmm.
marketing board was like Liat. You see, there are sometimes we have to prepare to subsidize issue.
I have no problem with
Yeah.
that.
And that is what we joking around with.
Yeah.
Some things may not be making money, but if you cut it off, you lose more money. So sometimes you have to subsidize things. Liat had to be subsidized by the Caribbean. Marketing board had to be subsidized. Government estates, you have to do your utmost to make it break even. But the amount of people that it employs, it is worthwhile to keep it.
But again, Mr. Pierre, a lot of the estate that wasn't making money is because of management fault again, you know.
Well, yes,
The
obviously.
minister selling somebody, give them work. You don't have space for them.
Yes,
you don't have money
because-
for them, but give them work.
Yes, because government is the biggest employer in Grenada and in almost all countries in the world. If you have high unemployment, you have to have government intervention
I
because
accept that.
there is a direct relationship between high unemployment and crime. People would not starve. They're going to hold up people and take things. They won't starve.
That is why I'm concerned about the tomfoolery that's going on with the promise of the estate.
Yeah.
Right now, we
Yeah.
see they put a new board for the marijuana issue agent to look into the marijuana.
Yeah.
To me, they're playing wrong again.
Yes.
You put a new board,
But it's a
and they
good-
say they're looking by September. The board has to report to the government and tell them the way forward.
Yeah.
So some people will be happy again because they're playing wrong again.
Yes, scholar. Thank you.
Thank you.
And while the government is playing around, more of our young people going to end up in jail because they are flaunting around with marijuana as if it is legal. Since Deacon Mitchell make movie on the social network where he embraced marijuana, a lot of our young men are embracing marijuana too in the public, and the police still locking them up. And I always believe that Deacon should apologize to the society. Deacon is not Ron. He's not Tevin. He's not Andy. Deacon is a lawyer. And Deacon know what he was doing was wrong. Deacon knew he was deceiving the public. And that is why I branded him as a fake. He knew when he hung up a marijuana tree, he was disrespecting the police and diluting their effectiveness. And he was setting up young people to have confrontation with the police. The police must have stayed quiet for a while But now they are arresting them for marijuana. And the younger men reacting, they're going and make movie on social media. Now your leader don't do things like that. Deacon Mitchell is the chief shepherd. And he has been delivering bad example after bad example. In the olden days, the people would say, he lying like when horse trotting. He made some wild, outrageous promises that have serious negative economic consequences. And he is misleading our young people. And some of them is going to end up in jail and with a record for marijuana. Because if the court charge them $2,000 or 6 months in jail, a lot of them going in jail. The consumption of marijuana, if you smoking 9 weed a day, is more likely you get mad than you get cured from glaucoma. So the individuals are smoking a lot of weed. Some Rasta men don't smoke weed. They eat weed. They cook with it. And not very regular. But if you're smoking all this weed, the via, the medium by which you take in weed, through inhalation, through smoke, is going to affect your lungs. And the regularity with which you take weed, it will shrink your brain cells. It's going to slow you down. And you might end up in monge. So we have not had any education encouraging people that even if I intend to legalize weed, it is not for recreational smoking. It is a medicinal or ever. I've heard stories where children make fudge. And fudge bad, you know. Because fudge is a nice thing. So you might eat more than you should eat. And zombie might take you. You might know whose hands that carrying you to safety. You may not know whose hands that carrying you to safety. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, Sir Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
You know, when you listen to them say that you say something, what you had the belief that it could happen, right? It could happen, and then when you outside there make that promises, think that it could happen, and when you get in, it says something that it can't happen. Okay, then you go back to tell people, well, yeah, I thought that would happen, but that it cannot happen. When we say, yeah, when they look at the lies, the amount of lies that these present government sell outside to the Grenadian people, 99.9 of them, they themselves know that is impossible for them thing to happen. So you see, they aim of just to deceive the young people, deceive the Grenadian people, just to get where they want to get. And now they get where they want, where they reach, they're not changing. The same lie they continue to lie, Mr. Pierre. So ask himself a question: how could we say we love people, and we give them a lie, things to lie about, and those speak the truth to them?
It's whose people you love. Always remember, the NDC never had a history of supporting people in the lower income group.
Yeah, but the problem they know, okay, like, we had children, and you might try to grow up a child in that way that you might place into which is right. But remember, you don't make choice for your children. The same child
I take a lot of issues with that. You know? When people tell me they don't make choice for children, I take a lot of issue with that.
No, but what
Are
I'm
you
saying,
not making choice if I ain't spending money?
yeah, no, what I'm saying, like the boyfriend and then pick a boyfriend. Again,
Well, sometimes you have to discourage your children from the boyfriend.
you understand?
Are you saying not inside my house or something?
All right, yes, okay. That's what I think
People always, you see, I agree with you. I understand. People always say that. But don't ever believe that some parents and cultures are not trying to influence their children.
Yeah, that's true. You know,
Although they're not making a choice, but they influence them so strongly. That's another go with the culture of the history of the people.
Yeah, it'll be good to not be bad, right? Alright? So, you know, what I'm saying is, like, okay, like, the young man that is trying to deprive from getting a proper education, and your daughter, your son, that you help to get a proper education, to that tomorrow, please God, that the person that you wanted to marry to, she said that, oh, mama, I don't love that person. And the young man or young girl like to deprive. So this is the person that your daughter end up with. And they have a family. And something that young man or young lady might get done. You know what, when you reflect back, you know what you go say? Boy, I may be the cause of that young man to get a proper education so then he can have a positive mind. So I do believe that every child should get the right opportunity to help. And one of that, because when you look at our society, the majority of homes, where you have a single parent is the mother.
Yeah.
The mother. And then when you find happening, some of the single mother they were working and income this government, they send them home.
Yeah, the government has done great injustice
They send them home.
to a lot of people in the lower income group.
So when they send home that mother, where the father outside there, and he don't even turn him back and look at his son, look at the children he have with this lady, and she ended up coming, she lost her job. That young man, to that one of God, he may come to be that Mr. This and Mr. That.
Sometimes he turn a bandit too.
Exactly. So that's my insane about it. Yeah. So then you see, like, everybody should try, the government should help encourage the single person.
Yeah, the government have to, in short color, the government of Grenada has shocked and disappointed everybody. Even the most hardline NDC, I believe, disappointed.
They're disappointed.
They are not saying that, but they're disappointed.
Yeah.
And that is why we're not hearing voices like Ray Roberts, William Joseph, and these other voices, they get quiet.
Yes, there are things they say that if you think when you keep quiet, you say that you can't like if you are accepting it.
Well, they're going to talk a little later. I guess right now they're in a state of paralysis.
They go talk.
Yeah.
Because I remember I have a lady, she neighbor, and she said that she go back over a man, tell over a man that every time that woman talk, she talking, so over a man tell her full she water water. So when the woman talk, she won't talk, and she has to money for that.
Yes, so if she mouth full of water, she can talk.
She can talk.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like this someone in the they keep them for sure they water, but they that owners so among that.
Yes, caller, thank you.
Water in the mouth.
Thank you, caller.
That matter the water come out and we able to talk.
Yeah.
So
we have a few readings I want to take from the social media, and this person is asking something about. They want to know what the government to tell us what is going on in the market in the town of St. George's. I don't know, but this caller seems to have some problem in the market in the town of St. George's. Another individual asking, a new pension plan is coming up. Yes, I heard the government talking about this new pension plan, and I don't know, the first thing the government have to address is the constitution. So if the government going around talking about new pension plan, the government have to understand why we end up in this dilemma. Because the 1984 Pension Disqualification Act contravene or contradict the Constitution. So the government might just be mamagaying themselves or fooling themselves or creating more dilemma for this country. If the government have to address the pension plan, the Constitution have to be addressed. And that is why some people believe Dr. Kit Mitchell should challenge it. He didn't. The trade union refused to take part in any discussion. The government said they go pay. And now the government talking a bag of crap about new pension plan. We hope they succeed. Yes, so I thought I would read this too. Agriculture is the backbone of Grenada economy. On the eye, we have to return to basics. We always say agriculture is the backbone. And yes, it is. Because if you're going to have food security, all this mama guy you hear talking about food security, they have to go back to agriculture to teach our people to live from nature, to eat potato leaf, pumpkin leaf, bamboo shoot, to eat the things from the land that would grow under natural condition. So in a worst case scenario, if rice and grain cannot come, our people could provide for themselves. Within 6 months, we can grow a lot of grown food. We can eat the potato leaf, the pumpkin leaf. They have to go around and encourage people to do that. To plant mungas fencing so we could use that. To develop this small ruminant industry. So most time you hear these guys gallivanting on radio is to present nice speeches. They're not genuine because they know better. They're talking about food security, but they're not practical. Sometimes you have to eat plantain stock and feed pigs with plantain. And plant trick and tear all about like fencing because it could be used for food. And use mango leaf. And we have to go back and do the research that what these things good for. That is food security. When irrespective of what happens in the world, even if you can get grain, rice and flour and sugar and corned beef and tin stuff to come, you still could survive. You may not get big and fat, but you would not die. You would survive. We come to the end of our program, and we're back with you tomorrow again, between 12 and 1, and you have another opportunity to punch.